Calderis Refinery, Old Boy and Tear versus Dingus Khan, the Farseer. A little bit of begging from Fufu. Oh my god, it's a Harlequin! Hey up, Harlequin! Who designed this? What the fuck? Come on. Who designed this? I don't know. Anyway, we've got the Harlequin Farseer right now. Pretty cool little skin actually. Except for the tits, they're absolutely outrageous. Also, where is the booty? This Farseer be looking Korean as fuck, boys. I'm sorry, I'm not a fan of the Korean look. I like a bit more booty than that. Anyway, we got Dingus Khan as the Farseer. And gonna be going... Wait, double Guardians? Versus... the Brocap versus Automalius? What? Dingus? Are you okay, mate? Strange. Very strange. I don't get it. Perhaps this was random? Antair doesn't usually play random. Very strange for Dingus to be going Guardians here. The problem is that they trade really well against the IST, but they're just going to bleed against all of the Automalius heroes. In particular, the Brother Captain and the Aversa Assassin would be a nightmare. And the other thing is, if you don't have Banshees, you've got no chance against the Strike Squad. Oh, okay, I see. Dingus is going to exploit the really overpowered Rangers right now. So Rangers got a buff in the most recent patch, and their damage is... They don't have a lot of burst damage compared to the Rangers of old, but their DPS is really quite ridiculous right now. Honestly, it's absurd. So Dingus is just going to exploit that. Double Guardians probably run around the map, cap, get Mind War on the Farseer to help focus down the Brother Captain and pin the strikes so they can't chase as well. If he gets Interceptors, you can Mind War into Grenade, and then, yeah, you just have loads of damage coming out your Rangers because they're crazy strong right now. Probably see triple Rangers at this rate because they're really cheap. So let's see. Right now only one of the Rangers is firing, so that's a mistake here from Dingus. Now they've got 3 long rifles, just like last patch. You do need to micro them a little bit more, move them forward a bit. Otherwise, if you just air move them, they're always only going to fire with 1 rifle. So that was a big fuck up actually from Dingus. Should infiltrate these and get them away, or the Brocap's just going to turn around and tie them up in melee. Look at that damage. Huge damage, and the rate of fire is pretty damn scary right now. Holy shit. Look at the state of the visual effects over here. But thankfully for the Farseer, she's only a single entity, so not going to take a lot of damage there from the Purgation. Purgation, we're obviously trying to run down the side here and do some sort of bash. But Dingus is doing a really good job just distracting Antair, just splitting up and playing a nice harassment style of play. It's a really good map for Eldar because it is really big with a safe gen farm. Webway gates are going to be ridiculous later on as well. Now he's going to go for a shuriken, alright. Okay. So he can move forward and poke with the Rangers, and then he can pull back into the shuriken after the Interceptors have jumped him. If there's even going to be any Interceptors. Right now, of course, we're not seeing any. We're seeing an IST Sergeant get called in. Not clear really what that's going to achieve. But good timing there on the Farseer retreat. Gonna get out. Nothing in her retreat path, so she'll be nice and safe. And here come the Rangers. Dude. I'm sorry, this damage is disgusting. They need to get out. Might even lose models in retreat here. Fortunately, the shots are being distributed across all 3 models. But yeah, look at the DPS even on retreat. Oh, they kill a model. They just did like 150 damage in retreat. 2 Rangers. These guys are completely broken right now. Man, that's something, guys. That's something. It's interesting. There's an ongoing Elite League right now, and we're really not seeing a lot of Eldar in spite of these really, really strong Rangers. Been kind of playing IG and Orcs exclusively. I'm actually a little bit tempted to play some Eldar. Because, you know, everyone's abusing OP shit. It's a tournament, what do you expect? But it is interesting others aren't doing it. Gonna run out of energy here on these rangers. Purgation could turn around and suppress them. Don't even need to. Gonna suppress them whilst capping. Very nice. But the infiltration here, they're gonna bleed. Hunter, get them out. Hunter is going for the interceptors now. They are really late. Psychic Lash on the BC. I was gonna say you might want to get your BC being a bit tankier. At least he doesn't bleed when he gets hit by the Rangers. But he goes for Psychic Lash. I don't know why he Psychic Lashed the Farseer there. If he lashed a Guardian, that would have been a model kill. Feels like a waste on the Farseer. But here come Interceptors. They're teleporting forward, not even onto the Rangers, so that's a bit weird. They get the Purification there from the Strike Squad. They're just hunting for Rangers, but you can't see them because they're not shooting right now. Where's the Shuriken? Okay, the Shuriken's flanking the back here. How weird. And the Rangers just DPSing. Look at that. I just can't help it. It's just like, look at the damage. Every time I see it, I am in disbelief because I've not seen this quite a lot yet. As I say, even in the Elite League, we're not seeing a lot of Ranger gameplay, so every time I see it, it just stuns me. Strike's getting into melee here, though. Going to get a couple of those Rangers killed. Yeah, something. How much are these to reinforce?
Our reinforcements are here.
Killing a few Guardians as well. 38 free. Okay, that's quite a lot to reinforce them. That's nice. Oh, man. Feels really bad. Literally just dropped Mind Blades on them and instantly retreats. He obviously shouldn't have dropped the Mind Blades. But waste the red, and to then add a little bit of salt onto the wound, the Farseer under guide kills the Strike Squad model. Really brutal start here for Antair. I don't know how he's going to make the comeback. Already ahead in tech here is Dingus. I'm going to assume that there's going to be a heavy bolter Rhino. It's going to do a whole lot of bleed. Dingus is going to fail to kill it for whatever reason, and it's going to help Antair get back into this game. Now, I say back into this game, to be fair, as far as the VPs are concerned, Antair is a little bit ahead, but broadly the game is very even. Not a lot of VPs taken off either side yet. But as I say, the tech lead right now for Dingus is tremendous. Wraithlord on the way now, Webway Gate being constructed near the gen farm here of Antair. That's obviously done by the Farsight Global of the Farseer because she didn't have any units over here to provide line of sight. Not really any good options for gen bashing though, probably just gonna slot the Shuriken in the webway. Well, apparently not, because it's in the mid right here. Purgation not feeling like a brilliant purchase right now. They are actually tanking a lot of shots and get out without losing a model. They don't have much HP regen though, so that's unfortunate. Purification, gonna give the Interceptors another teleport. They're gonna teleport onto the Shuriken here. Did something just get wiped? No, super close. Ooh, maybe gets the Rangers here. Oh, so he showed Stormbolters do good fire on the move damage, gets one of the Rangers. Gets two models off the other Ranger as well. A little bit of a micro mishap there for Dingus. I'm not sure why the Rangers were in melee for so long, especially when the Interceptors were jumping on the Shuriken and not the Rangers as well. So that's good. That's going to help Antair, but now he's got a new threat to contend with, a Harlequin Wraithlord. And he's very starved for requisition. Mantle of Terror coming out, Justicar coming out for all of the Grey Knight squads, which is two of them. You can't get Justicar on the Purgation. Purgation have the Beamer, so that's going to be useful. Okay, he's going to have to make a decision here. Use your Sanctified Global for energy. He used the wrong global. Oh, Antair, we love you, mate. We love you. Our favourite Ordo Malleus main. He accidentally used Mind Blades there instead of Purification. He did use the Purification after, so that should have only cost him 50 red, and it ended up costing him 125 red to force off the Shuriken there. Definitely not worth it. Easily done if you're using the hotkeys though. It's literally a F2, sorry, an F3 press instead of an F2. If you got fat fingers, it can happen. And the beamer got tied up by the Farseer, it appears. But both players very low on resources right now. Dingus had to clearly pay a lot to reinforce his squads. Now fully upgrading both of his Guardians. He's got the battle equipment and getting a Warlock for both of them. Gravblade is on the Farseer, so that can be used to counter-initiate the, well, any of the melee, but particularly the Interceptors if they're jumping on the Bright Lance and such. You would probably expect a Las Cannon Rhino here, but a Heavy Bolter Rhino would be okay too. I agree with Arthur, it is a bit strange that he's kitting up all of his units. To go for the Nemesis Warding Staff and the Mantle of Terror seems a bit odd before a tier 2 unit. I mean, even just having a Heavy Bolter Rhino right now, it could be coming down here. So pushing off everything while the IST then get a cap, putting a bit of VP pressure on, you know. But it's not going to happen. Attempting some sort of defense here. Ooh, eats the grenade in the mid, but classic Grey Knights. And a bit late on the ward, mate. Fucking hell. What was that? Literally, like, 4 seconds late. Very strange animations here with the Levitation Blade and the Riftload. Yeah, classic Grey Knights. Riftload can't even kill a Grey Knight after swinging on it 3 times. What can we say? Just classic Grey Knights. Beamer trying to set up a little bit too close here. There is a Shuriken in the back too, but the BC can tank that. He probably doesn't want to go in here though because, you know, we've got a Wraithlord right there to hit him in melee. But Wraithlord's scared of the Beamer. It's not actually set up. It's not in the correct position at all. A little bit unlucky there that the Brother Captain procced that special on the Bright Lance. So Rifthlord will take a little bit of damage from the Beamer there, but should be able to get out. IST down here not really properly in cover, so they are going to lose the trade against the Guardians, even though they have the Acolyte now. I think Guardians win this trade anyway, because they just do more damage than the poor IST. IST basically are just bad Guardians. They're a similar sort of unit. They're kind of melee by default, because they don't trade very cost effectively. And then they become very cost effective range traders with all their upgrades. Guardians here staying in to try and repair the Wraithlord. Big mistake from Dingus. Going to get wiped out by the Grey Knights. And I don't know what the Wraithlord's doing. Oh, it's trying to evade the conversion beamer, which is down here. I was going to say it can easily beat these guys in melee. They don't have any heavy melee or anything. Literally only 2 power melee models. And those Grey Knights have to flee. So all of that resulted in Ante getting quite a lot of VPs off Dingus. We're now looking at 270 for Dingus to around 450, slowly ticking down for Ante, but it is going to start ticking down a bit more rapidly. 2 to 1 cap, 2 to 0 cap for a little bit of time, then a 2 to 1 cap. So Dingus is tier 3, Ante on the other hand is gone committed to tier 2. He's got this Grey Knight Dreadnought right now. Probably should just send that to the gen farm of Dingus. Dingus is still a little bit power dependent. You know, he can get a Prism now, but if he were to lose that Prism, he wouldn't be able to replace it. So there is still some value in bashing his power farm. Poor Beamers there couldn't even get their first shot off to suppress the Wraithlord because of the Ranger Kinetic Pulse. Now, long rifle shots are going to be killing more Purgation models. They just need to back off. This isn't great. Honestly, the Grey Knight Dreadnought should just attack the infantry here. Forget the Wraithlord. Oh, well now the Wraithlord's got a Bright Lance, so that kind of changes. You don't want the Wraithlord chasing you with a Bright Lance. It's going to do a lot of damage. Shuriken in the backlines here is upgraded to a Bright Lance itself. Interceptors need to commit to this fight and jump onto that Bright Lance. Stormtroopers should be repairing the Dreadnought as well. What is he doing? He jumps the Rangers. No, no, no. Jump the Bright Lance, Santerre. What on earth? What is he doing? Okay, I know the Rangers are quite overpowered, but there you go. He actually manages to wipe the Rangers with the Interceptors, and the Beamer managed to sneakily get set up in the back here. Wraithlord just moving out of position where they can't be finished off by the Purgation. God, that must feel very annoying. We've got Harlequins Harlequin skin Seer Council right here. Did they just... No, they didn't wipe the purgation, just got one model down. They're going to rotate around and hunt down the interceptors. Now, what happened down here? We seen the Brocap beat up some Guardians, but they got out, it would appear. Probably gone back into the webway, I assume. Oh no, they're down there. Maybe the Guardians didn't. I'm not sure. When did they lose? Dingus lose the other Guardian squad? I can't remember. Well, I really feel like Antair needed that Dreadnought because now he's stuck in tier 2 against an opponent who's in tier 3 and could get another tier 3 squad. You know what actually would be pretty damn effective right now for Dingus? Getting a Falcon and upgrading it with its energy shield. But he loses a Guardian squad. That's his repair support gone, so that is actually kind of a big loss. Look at the Wraithlord right now. Now the Wraithlord could get Wraith Bone to heal itself, and it, unlike most vehicles, does have natural regen. That's the Eldar magic for you right there. Wow, even the Bright Lance looks different for this skin. This is a cool skin, man. Look at the Bright Lance. Looking very snazzy. Very snazzy. So here comes the fresh Guardians, getting upgraded as well. I don't know about upgrading them, to be honest. I don't think I'd bother. Their little shitty piercing DPS at this point is not really going to contribute too much. Looks like Seer Council just wrecked the level 3 interceptors, as you would expect. Not totally wrecked. Down to less than half HP, but only one model lost for free on the interceptors, including the Justicar. Feels bad. And now the Strike Squad and BC are just gem bashing, but let's face it, at this point it's way too late. 300 power in the bank for Dingus. He doesn't need any more power. Really don't feel like the Psychic Lash has paid off at all here. Wait, is that piercing damage? Yeah, it is, because it did really bad damage to the Guardian Weapons team there, because it's heavy infantry, the actual weapon model, whereas the other dudes in the back are only light infantry. Autark! Oh, that's a cool choice right now. I like this Autark. Nice bait into the grab field as well. And Psychic Lash could be a bit scary for the Autark, but the Autark's very nice to support the Seer Council. She has that passive Scorpion Shield buff, which gives range damage resistance to all nearby infantry, and then when she jumps in, she gives a speed boost, a little heal, and a damage boost. Really good to jump in and buff the Seer Council with all that. And of course, she's very fast herself, great for map control. Dingus is going to need the map control right now. He is quite far behind on VPs still. I don't know why Antair has now got plasma guns. That does not feel like what he needs right now. Gives you a little bit of utility versus the Seer Council because of the overcharge, which you can use to suppress the squad, but... Ooh, Interceptor's teleporting in. Autark needs to get the fuck out. She's gonna die. Too late. Oh, jumps. Getting shot to pieces. Tries to retreat, but Stormtroopers doing a lot of damage there. Interceptors even got sanctified and tried to retreat, jump on the teleport and retreat as well, but... Yeah, that's a dead Autark. So much for her, right? I mean, it was just very, very unnecessary deep commitment there from the Autark. I don't really know what she was doing. She just done her capping here, and once she started getting shot, just back off. She should be going around supporting the Seer Council at all times. Because I imagine that the Strike Squad plus the Interceptors actually will do pretty good against the Seer Council, especially with Brother Captain buffs here, like this Warding Staff, which gives knockback immunity, which can counter all those crazy leaps that the Seers can do. I'm a bit... Look, I know the tier 3 Eldar vehicles are not that great, like getting a Falcon giving an energy shield or going for a Fire Prism, but really, right now, the only AV is a Beamer, for God's sake. Get a vehicle. You know, a Fire Prism could just chain knock back a Beamer. A Falcon? How the hell are you going to kill an energy shield Falcon with just a Beamer? There's no chance. You can't even kill a Wraithlord with a Beamer. And you don't need as much... Oh wow, risky play there, trying to run the Farseer in. You don't even need as much repair support if you get a energy shield Falcon, because it, you know, it just naturally regains its energy over time. So we've got the Interceptors jumping in here. They're going to suppress the Seer Council. You've got the BC slapping them as well. This doesn't feel like a great situation for the Seer Council. But the Interceptors retreat nonetheless. Interesting. They're nearly level 4. Now we're going to see a Fire Prism. I do think the Falcon would be better in this instance. But we'll see. Seer Council should just attack the Brother Captain here. He hasn't got any buffs because there's no energy. Just kill him. What are you doing? He's only got 700 HP. You've got 1,000 on the Seer Council. Seer Council do what in melee? What do they even do for DPS? Is it like 40 DPS in melee or something? So you've got 160 DPS versus his 75? You'll rip them to pieces. Anyway, it works out because the Wraithlord skewers that boy. Wow. Again, what the Brother Captain was doing, running in, putting a Wraithlord in his retreat path to try and force off a Bright Lance, I'm not entirely sure, especially when Ante has over 300 VPs. Like, he's chilling, he's got plenty of time still. So making those super risky, aggressive plays is odd. Here comes Checkerboard Fire Prism. Not sure how that Psychic Grenade just missed the Farseer, but there you go. Oh, the Armor of the Assyrian now. All the bullshit tier 3 Eldar witchcraft is coming out. Yeah, Fire Prism just chain knockbacks the strike, and the Wraithlord ties the Purgation in melee. Feels bad, man. Like I said earlier, just imagine if Ante still had his Dreadnought. He'd be in so much better of a position. But if Dingus uses this thing correctly, it's going to be very difficult for Ante to do anything about this Fire Prism. Probably should get the Spirit Stones to support the Seer Council. But Runes of Reaping's okay as well. Oh wow, they just ripped the Purgation to pieces. Jesus. I didn't even see that. Did he not retreat? Or did he? They die so fast. I just assumed he'd have retreated out. That's why I stopped looking. As I was going to say, Runes of Reaping's okay, because it reduces your cooldown by 25%, so you can then spam more Time Field, which, you know... Time Field, I've said it a few times, I think Time Field is completely overpowered. Such an insane ability. Just point and click a massive area and the enemy gets a movement speed debuff and can't attack? Like, what? Just lure them into a choke point, activate that ability, and then just shoot the shit out of them. They can't do anything. So powerful. Alpha's never seen anyone buy the multi-melter on the Dread. It's pretty common. Especially against Eldar, it's actually really good because it pops the models very fast, but in tier 2, not against what's going to soon be dual Fire Prisms. I mean, you already have a range deficit in the Melter versus Falcon exchange, never mind against bloody Fire Prisms with a range 65 attack. So I'm kind of rooting for Ante here because he's super on the back foot, and I've got to commend a guy who is very tenacious and does not quit, but compositionally he's in a terrible position. Fortunately for him, Dingus is simply not microing. He has completely forgotten about this Fire Prism, so now it's doomed, because if it tries to back out, the Melter is going to shoot it, and that's why you go Melter against the Eldar grab vehicles. Boom, that's dead. The problem is there's another Fire Prism in the corner, and there is also a Bright Lance Wraithlord. So Canticle of Absolution dropped in the middle, that's going to support these Grey Knight infantry, but even with that support, that's not going to be that good. Dreadnought's going to fall, IST are going to fall. Is anything going to melee the IST? Please tell me they're not going to escape alive. It was quite a nice use of abilities in the middle there. Oh wow, fucking hell, the Bright Lance just gibbed that poor IST Sergeant. Turned him into tiny little giblets. Jeez. Quite literally melted. So you had... Wow, Seer Council didn't even lose a model. Get the Spirit Stones, man. Swap between the Spirit Stones and the Runes of Reaping. Go on, lad. Go on, lad. Yeah, you had the The ward dropped on the interceptors to help them try and win the fight against the Seer Council, but then that was when Dingus activated the levitation blade and basically negated it, because ward is weapon knockback immunity, levitation field is ability knockback, and by the time the levitation field ended, the ward had worn off. So it was a nice little bit of counterplay right there. But yeah, Ante obviously was on the back foot here. He's got a just completely inferior army behind in tech. It's really quite amazing that he wasn't defeated a long time before this. Now it's going to be a D cannon. If I was Dingus, I was going to say I'd be getting more Seer Council. I think they're only capped at 1 though, so not very much. Honestly, an attack still feels good. Just keep it with the Seer Council all the time. He loses the BC again. Super aggressive. I don't know why he keeps letting his BC stand around the Wraith Lord. Level 4 Wraith Lord at this point. Nearly level 4 Seer Council too. I'm not sure what that time field was. Just slowing down the Seers. Dingus is scared. He doesn't want to push up to get the natural VP. Now obviously we can see everything, and we know there's no threat here, but Dingus can't. He doesn't want to risk it. The game is getting very low on VPs right now. Less than 100 VPs for Antair, but he's going to hold out. He's got this Warhammer Razorback coming. Hey look, in theory, if that thing rushes down the Fire Prism, it can easily 1v1 it. Less so if a D cannon is getting shots on it and a Wraith Lord with a Bright Lance. So really, you know, you've got one chance if you're Antair. You need to make this opportunity count. Obviously, Dingus right now, unless he's using Farsight on the base, which might be a smart idea given his quantity of red, unless he's doing that, he doesn't know if Warhammer Razorback's coming. So this initial strike could be pivotal. Obviously, the Warhammer out DPSs the Fire Prism. It also outspeeds it. It just has way less range. Range. So if Dingus sees it coming, he'll just be able to drive back and shoot at you when you're out of range, and then that'll be a problem, especially with the supporting AV of a D cannon and a Bright Lance. But if not, it might be able to get it. Now, Antair's just driving straight through the middle. I don't like this play. You know he has some AV. You know he's got a Wraith Lord or a Bright Lance at the very least. He hasn't seen the D cannon. Now he's gonna. Here comes an Eldritch into a Singularity and a Time Field. And that's the dead Vortimer. Fire Prism is not in... Okay, it is in single focus shot mode, but it's shooting at the Strike Squad for some reason. It doesn't matter, the Vortimer's dead. It just gets hunted down by the Wraith Lord. There's just too many threats for Antair to deal with, really. Does manage to force off the D cannon, but... yeah, it doesn't matter. He's got no troops, can't deal with the Seer Council. Can't cut this. You just go on to Disperse Beam and keep them knocked over. Good game though. Kudos to Antair for not surrendering earlier. I mean, managed to get Dingus down to 130 VPs. I think Dingus could have closed this out way earlier. I think a Falcon with an energy shield would have been amazing in tier 3. I agree with Arthur that that Antair upgrading his hero in tier 2 and getting Strike Justicar, Interceptor Justicar, blah blah blah, before getting any tier 2 unit was really weird. There was a really good timing window he actually had where he could have got a Heavy Bolt or Razorback out, bashed all these gens and put on a tremendous amount of VP pressure, but he just completely missed it. And then there was just a lot of lollygagging. Obviously a lot of micro mistakes from either side here, but overall a pretty good game, and nice to see some Eldar bullshit. We're not seeing that much of it these days. I just hope the bloody Rangers get nerfed soon. Thanks for tuning in, folks. That's going to be all from your boy, Torpid, signing out.